וכי נפשי אס השם.
We're about to begin a new adventure. Happy Hanukkah. We're about to begin a new adventure today. פרק כלל גדול, the 7th chapter in the Tractate Shabbat, is a new domain. It's a chapter that dealing with the core of the mitzvah of Shabbat. Our Torah tells us in numerous places, positively, negatively, the importance of observing Shabbat, and then one who profaned Shabbat, one who violated Shabbat, the punishment. The Torah categorizes these punishments, meaning the language of the Torah in different time, in different location in the Torah, use a different term of punishment. Because there are so many sources in the Torah that speak about Shabbat, we need to understand several definitions. Today we're going to learn together, first and foremost, the definition of Tinok Shenishba. What is Tinok Shenishba? The great Rav Shlomo Karlebach, which I know many of you like to sing his songs, and I have the privilege to know him personally, and my father officiated wedding with him in Haifa, I recall many, many years ago. He said once, beautifully, that there is no such a thing someone who does lehachis in order purposely to hurt his soul or to hurt God in that sense by violating, for example, Shabbat. People are in a category that it's called Tinok Shenishba. Tinok Shenishba meaning literally, if a baby was captured by the enemies and the baby never knew anything related to Jewish roots. The baby was born, for example, in the time of KGB in Russia, and that baby raised among non-Jews. So even that child reached the age of maturity, and little by little, in the search of its roots, he or she discovered that they are Jewish. Their foundation in Judaism is a very small one. In that mindset, when we enter the domain of question of Hilchot Shabbat, here we have several questions. The first question is, if someone does something unintentionally, and soon we see two different categories. One is called shogeg, unintentional. The second one is called ones, someone who was forced by the circumstance to do something that he or she did not really will to do. So if someone is in that temperature, that environment, he or she basically wants to do teshuvah, wants to return to God, and wants to do what is right. Now they come and ask, so what should I do with my past? Now, again, when we're dealing with past, it's different between past the whole life, or past particular Shabbat, or past just right now, or something that I would like to learn for the future. What do I mean by that? There are some circumstances that people have no choice. Someone who's born in a ghetto and put in a concentration camp, he or she are very limited with their freedom of choice for what to do and what not to do. Someone who's in the service or in the special forces, like some of you, again, you are limited. So there is a category we call honest, which means something that beyond a person will, and there is and it just happened, and there is another concept that's called yedi'ah, which means when a person aware of what he or she does. So here we need to put all of that in a clear category in order for us to understand what Shabbat is all about, not only in the historical context, not only in a philosophical context, but also in a sense of doing what God asked us to do. King David said in the book of Psalms, לעשות רצונך אלוקי חפצתי ותורתך בתוך מעי. deep in my heart, and that's again what Reb Shlomo Carlebach used to say, if you search deepest in the heart of a fellow, you see that people in their heart really wants to do what God asks them to do. But in order for us to understand what exactly involved with that, we need to know the very clear definition of Shabbat. What exactly considering a violation, what's the difference in violation, and we learn it sometimes via negativa. What does that mean via negativa? When the Torah used the word, that soul shall be cut off, or they use the term that soul shall bring a sin offering, or they use the term that person should be stoned. You see now 3 different punishments with 3 different languages in 3 different things. We need to understand when and where and why. So all of that together wrap up to this perek. We're also going to learn numerous halachot in Shabbat, particularly melachot, some type of work that involve with creating something from nothing, but also there are several halachot like preparing food in advance or using certain elements that involve with changes the status of certain food. So again, all of that will wrap up later in this perek, but this perek called Klal Gadol, meaning later the GEMARA said what is Gadol, what is the great here, but Klal meaning this is a general rule, and then we go to the specific. We are in 67b at the very bottom of the page, but today the daf is 68. Klal Gadol Amru B'Shabbat. The sages stated a significant principle with regard to halachot of Shabbat. Why? Because Chilul Shabbat, desecration of Shabbat, Beshogeg, unintentional, can happen in many different ways. The word Gadol, as we said, Rashi said, we explain it later. Kol hashocheach ikar Shabbat, ועשה מלאכות הרבה, בשבתות הרבה, אינו חייב אלא אחת. Since the Torah tells us in many places the strong language over the importance of observing of Shabbat, so they said if someone forget that is a Shabbat, which is he doesn't know that is the Torah commandment of Shabbat. As we said, for example, Tinok Shenishba, remember this word, Tinok Shenishba, baby that was captured. So I'm going to use this word a lot, just remember what I meant, okay? So if that fellow is in the category of Tinok Shenishba, and Tinok in that sense doesn't need to be a baby, but baby in a sense of lack of knowledge, and he created a lot of type of work in many Shabbatot, we ask him to bring only one time sin offering. Why? The GEMARA explained later. Next one. Hayodea ikar Shabbat. The person know the essence of Shabbat. He knew that God asked us to observe Shabbat. He knew that He's a commandment in Torah on Shabbat. He knew that He's forbidden to do work on Shabbat. However, he, again, that's called shogeg. He forgot that today is Shabbat. How that happened can be many ways. You serve in special forces, sometimes you are so busy you don't even realize what the day is today. Sometimes you fall asleep, sometimes we're on a cruise. It's all kind of situation that you just forget that today was Shabbat. Ve'asa melachot harbe b'shabbatot harbe. Meaning, it created situation that it was already, let's say, 2 or 3 times Shabbat, and he did a lot of work in different Shabbatot and not even realized that what he did was Shabbat. Chayav al kol Shabbat v'Shabbat. Here is a different category. The Talmud, the GEMARA later explained it. But here we said it's not just one sin offering. We need, let's say, if it was 3 Shabbatot, he needs to bring 3 sin offering. Even later the GEMARA explained it's called He'elem Echad, that he did all of that, like, in a sense, in one time, in one thinking, and meanwhile, between the 3 weeks, he didn't realize that he committed a sin. the days preceding the Shabbat, it's considered, which is called in Hebrew, Yedi'at Hachet. He has the knowledge of making this type of mistake, sin. And therefore we divided this shgaga, unintentional act, each and every Shabbat separately. And therefore he need to bring a sin offering for each and every Shabbat. In that sense, if it was 3, he need to bring 3 sin offering. Next, היודע שהוא שבת ועשה מלאכות הרבה בשבתות הרבה, which means he knew that it's Shabbat. But let's face it, if you go in many communities and you ask people over a certain melachot of the 39 type of work that forbidden on Shabbat, I'm not so sure if everyone aware of many type of work that forbidden on Shabbat. And therefore, he knew in general that there is a prohibition against doing work on Shabbat. And he knew also the second category, that today is Shabbat. However, he doesn't know that this type of work is forbidden, and therefore he did it many Shabbatot. Now he realized that what he does is forbidden. The answer is Chayav al kol achat ve'achat. We turn to 68a. Al kol av melacha u'melacha. Yes, we use the term av. Soon you see what happened with the tolada, with the something that deriven from the av. But the point is, he is obligated. He is basically responsible or liable to each and every type of work that he did, because each of them it's independent type of work or a derivative tolada of that type of work. Last part of the Mishnah, and later we derive the specifications. Ha'oseh melachot harbe me'ein melacha achat. If someone made in shogeg, in unintentional manner, many type of work that it's like one work, which means that he made several derivative of work that come out of one of them, and he did it in one time. For example, he didn't realize between one to the other that type of work is forbidden, or he did the av and the tolada together. There are many. For example, planting a seed, right, and watering, right. So there are 2 different actions, but they are all related. So again, אינו חייב אלא חטאת אחד.
So planting a seed and watering are 2 different categories of melachot?
I promise you that we discuss it later. That's part of our discussion. It's a long, and we have 2 different machlokot, we have munbaz, it's a lot. But just first, let's understand the foundation. What we understand for the Mishnah. Because later in the GEMARA, because time constraint, I'm going to speed up, but I want to give everyone a foundation. So with that foundation, we can go further. What we learn here, there are different categories of Tinok Shenishba, different category of melachot. There is a melacha that someone did just one time. There is a melacha that is a constant. There is a melacha that a person did with intent to do this type of melacha without the knowledge that that's forbidden. There is a melacha that repeats itself, etc., etc., etc. Because there are so many, we said a general rule that someone who is really Tinok Shenishba and have no clue, it's 1 sin offering. Someone realized that it's Shabbat, but somehow we forgot about it, and he did it in many times, he need to bring sin offering independently. Remember, this Mishnah not speaking about Mezid, someone did with full intent a violation of Shabbat. That's a different category. And as far as the category, it's important to note that since we speak about punishment, so someone did something intentional and he has a warning and 2 witnesses, that's skila. But when the Torah used the term karet, that soul shall be cut off, that's applied to a different category. Or if the Torah said that person need to bring a sin offering, is in those situations. If it's shogeg, tinok shenishba, it happened without his knowledge. But again, because it's a constant, it happened at different times, and now we realize, then we need to wrap it up and say, he need to bring in certain situation one sin offering for each and every melacha, or sin offering just over a specific Shabbatot that was in violation. Now we go to the GEMARA. First question the GEMARA asks is, Mai ta'ama tana klal gadol? What's the reason in the language of the Mishnah they use the word a significant principle? The answer, I leima mishum dekaba'e lemitne od klal acher, because we say later in page 75 that it was another general principle, and over there it's only 2 derivative, and here it's a 4 derivative. So that's the reason why I use the term klal gadol, tana klal gadol. Vegabe shvi'it name. Now we try to juxtapose to the idea of shvi'it. Shvi'it, you know, it's a sabbatical year, and one who is in violation of sabbatical year, the Torah said that the land, you know, the person not serve the land, that soul should be punished, etc. So they said, mishum dekaba'e lemitnei od klal acher, because we want to learn in Shvi'it, in chapter 7, another principle, Tana klal gadol. So we learn this, they taught the term a significant principle. Why? Because in that sense is a greater from the other one. Now, I would like again to emphasize what there are 4 principles we learn in the Mishnah. Just let it drop it out, because now we're going to zoom in and go to the Avot and Toradot. 1. If someone forgot the essence of Shabbat and he made many type of work in many Shabbatot, he needs to bring
one sin offering.
Thank you. One sin offering. Thank you. Second category, if someone knew about Shabbat and he made many type of work in many Shabbatot, but again it was unintentional, he needs to bring a sin offering for
each one.
Each and every Shabbat. Excellent.
Each Shabbat.
Each Shabbat.
Not each malacha.
Not each malacha. The third one, if a person know that is Shabbat, but he did a lot of type of work in many Shabbatot, which means he is in different type of violation. So he needs to bring for each and every melacha
Right.
offering.
So
Now,
potentially multiple offerings for a given Shabbat even.
excellent. 4, it's called if someone did me'ein melacha achat, which means he did a lot of things, but it's
within one category of
one
malacha.
category. So in that sense, you need to bring only one sin.
chatash.
Clear. Now, sabbatical year. There is a concept in the sabbatical year in Eretz Israel that is called Kedushat Shvi'it. We need to give away our land, and we're not allowed to do any type of marching, like selling, buying, business. We have an obligation not to destroy it. It's some of that they have biur, etc. So because it's involved with a lot of details, we call it general important principle. Now, dektane klal acher. So now v'haga b'maaser. So now we ask, what about tightening? The first Mishnah in the Tractate Maasrot, which dealing with the tithe, said
It tithes, yeah.
yes. In the Mikdash dektane klal acher v'lo tane klal gadol. Over there we said that it's important principle, but we didn't say that it's another. They say another principle, but not teach a significant principle. So here again we ask a question: why use the term gadol? The Mishnah, the great principle. Amar Rav Yossi Baravim. There is a very deep thought with that. He said Shabbat v'Shvi'it de'it behu avot v'toladot tana gadol. Maaser deleit ba'avot v'toladot lo tana gadol. Since in Shabbat category there is a principle of work that forbidden, like the 39, and there is a derivative that derive from that principle. So the same apply with walking in a field. There is something that is forbidden, and there is something that it's derivative. In Shabbat is the 39 that it's similar to the type of work that they used to have in a tabernacle. And each one of this category have some derivative that are very similar to it, and it's called toladot. And when it's come to Shvi'it, the sabbatical, ploughing, cutting, and doing all of that, it's again, it can be some type of derivative from the work that's forbidden. So they said, Maaser deleit ba'avot betoladot, lotana klal gadol. With the tithe, when giving a tithe, it's not a principle and derivative. It's just a principle to give a tithe. So you cannot compare it. Ulevar kapara, the Tane, according to Bar Kapara that teach us in a Tosefta, klal gadol b'maaser, mai avot umai toladot ita. Bar Kapara, when he was put together the word of the Tanaim, he put the word gadol even with maaser. So how come he used it? So they said, El alav hainu ta'ama, gadol onsho shel Shabbat yoter mishel shvi'it. The Torah put the severe punishment of violation of Shabbat more than shvi'it, which means the ilu Shabbat ita ben betalush ben bimchubar, meaning regardless if it's something that cut off from the ground before Shabbat or things that was attached to the ground when Shabbat is there. For example, there is a melacha that's called tochen, or melacha that is called lash, which means you take the dough and you
knead it. Knead it. Yeah, or
so
knead it. Yeah.
That can happen.
Or roll it.
That can happen. Even you may say, wait a second, I did all the preparation before Shabbat, so why I cannot knead it on Shabbat? I have it detached from the ground in advance. Okay? Ve'ilu shvi'it, however, when it's come to shvi'it, to the sabbatical year, betalush leita, bimchubar ita. In regard to shvi'it, something that is detached from the ground before the beginning of the sabbatical year, it's not applied. Bimchubar, but something that is attached to the ground when the sabbatical year begins, ita. Why? Because the kedusha, the sanctity of shvi'it, of the sabbatical, apply only in a domain of time from the beginning of the shvi'it, of the sabbatical year. However, if, unlike Shabbat, if it's detached in advance from the ground before the beginning of the sabbatical year, it doesn't carry the kedusha, the sanctity of shvi'it. Another thing, vegadol onsha shel shvi'it yoter min hamaaser. When you're talking negative, when it's come to a punishment for violation of the biblical law of the sabbatical year, the punishment is much severe for violation of sabbatical year more than lack of tithing. The ilu shvi'it ita, because obligation of the sanctity of shvi'it apply ben b'ma'achal adam, ben b'ma'achal behema, which means apply both for men and animals. Ve'ilu maaser, however, the obligation to give a tithe, b'ma'achal adam ita, b'ma'achal behema leita. If it's applied to a people food, human people food, then it's applied that you have the obligation to give a tithe. However, when it's come to an animal, it's only, the Torah use the word dagan tirosh yitzhar, only this type of things, grain, etc. That's the sages say that also apply to fruits, etc. But it's all applied to a people, the people who eats, not animals. Now, ולבר כפרה דתני כלל גדול במעשר, But according to Bar Kapara, that he said, even a great principle in the tithe, Gadol onsho shel maaser yoter mishel peah. So again, we have here like a level of gradations. So we said that someone who did not follow the principle of giving tithe, he deserved punishment, received punishment more than peah. Peah, you know, it's one of those obligations. Like remember the story of Ruth and Boaz, is the corner of the field has to leave for whom? For the poor people. That's the Torah said that you should leave it for the poor people, and they should take whatever the portion. The Torah did not specify. Why? But because that's leave it to the owner discretionary. The ilu maaser ita bit'ena v'yarak. When the Torah speaks about giving tithe, it's applied to a fig trees, right? Vegetable. Ve'ilu pe'ah leita bit'ena v'yarak. The obligation to give a pe'ah, a corner in a field, and not apply to this fig tree, etc. So because of that, all the fig and other vegetable, it's rabbinic obligation. I'm sorry, maaser, tightening, is rabbinic. Pe'ah, it's not even rabbinic. Just to make sure that everyone understand me, the word maaser is tithing.
Tithing,
so
yeah.
I want to make sure that I'm saying it right. Tithing. So I'm now going to use the word maaser so everyone know what I meant. Detnan, klal amru bepe'ah. That's what they said at the very beginning of Tractate Pe'ah. Kol shehu ochel venishmar. Anything that is type of food for people and the owner safeguarded, vegidulo min haaretz, and it's come from the ground, ulkitato ke'echat, which means they taking from the field together a collection, umachniso lekiyum, he put it in his treasury, and he is like the story of Yosef. We're going to read next week about Yosef, that they asked him to save the land, and he put it underground, all the food, in order to observe it. So here they can go for a long time. So they said chayav bepe'ah, because the pe'ah, the Torah used the word ktsir, so it's applied to anything that it's similar to ktsir, which means that they have this type of character. Ochel, some type of food, lema'utei sfichei satit vekotza. So the food to exclude the aftergrowth of woad, it's called satit, and madder. Why? Because these type of plants are used for dyeing and not for food. The obligation of pe'ah does not apply to them. ונשמר למעוטי הפקר, וגידולו מן הארץ למעוטי כמהין ופטריות. And protected to exclude ownerless crops, which by definition are not protected, and grows from the ground to exclude truffles and mushrooms, which unlike other plants do not draw sustenance from the ground. Ulkitato ke'achat lema'utei te'ena, and is gathered as one to exclude the fig tree, whose fruits is gathered throughout an extended period, as the figs do not all ripen together. Umachniso lekiyum, and one brings it to store, to preserve, lema'ute yarak, to exclude vegetables, which cannot be stored for lengthy periods. Now they have new technology, they try to do it a little longer, but again, it's limited. Ve'ilu gaber maaser tnan, we said at the beginning of Tractate Maasrot, klal amru b'maaser. They say a very important principle with regard to tithes. What's the principle? He said, Kol shehu ochel venishmar. Anything that it's a food and it's protected. Vegidulo min haaretz chayav b'maaser, and grows from the ground, is obligated to tithes. Ve'ilu lekitato ke'achat umachniso lekiyum lo tnan. we did not learn in regards to Maaser the following criteria, which is gathered as one, and which bring to store to preserve. So what happened? What we understand that figs and vegetables are obligated to Masrot, making the scope of the materials obligated in tithe greater than the scope of those obligated of Pe'ah. Now we go to Rav Shmuel. Rav Shmuel, the Amrei Travaihu, they both said, Matnitin בתינוק שנשבע לבין הנוכרים וגר שנתגייר לבין הנוכרים אבל הכיר ולבסוף שכח חייב על כל שבת ושבת. Rav Shmuel both said, look, our Mishnah is speaking about the baby that was taken capture among the enemies and never educated, or someone who converted to Judaism, who converted over there among the non-Jews and never learned the halachot of Shabbat. On the contrary, one who knew the essence of Shabbat and ultimately forget, now is liable for each and every Shabbat. That's what exactly the Mishnah said, that the essence of Shabbat. Tnan, we learn in the Mishnah, השוכח עיקר שבת לאו נכלל דהוויה לידיעה מעיקרא. So one who forget the essence of Shabbat, doesn't the phrase indicates that he is aware of Shabbat originally? What does that mean when you use the term he forget? Forget meaning that he learned and he forget about it. So keep it.
Means he knew about it at one point.
Right. So let's make it clear. Let's make it very, very clear in a sense. If he knew and he forgot, or he have no clue, the GEMARA rejected and said, no. My kol shochech ikar Shabbat. What it meant in the Mishnah, if someone forget the essence of Shabbat, daita shakuach mimenu ikara shel Shabbat. That he who forget the essence of Shabbat always forgotten for him, which is he never knew it. That's what it meant. Now they just use a light language, but the key point is יודע. What does that mean? He know. אבל הכיר ולבסוף שכח. However, one who knew the essence of Shabbat and ultimately forget, what's the din? What's the halacha? חייב על כל שבת ושבת. Tell me that he's liable for each and every Shabbat. So you don't need to say all of that. You know, at the Tani, we learn in the very principle יודע עיקר Shabbat. If a person know that it's a Shabbat, but he wasn't sure what date it is, ועשה מלאכות הרבה בשבתות, he did a lot type of work in many Shabbatot, חייב על כל שבת ושבת. He is basically liable for each and every Shabbat. Litnei. So if that's the case, we should learn הכיר ולבסוף שכח. He knew the essence of the din of Shabbat and then he forget about it, which is he is obligated for each and every Shabbat. That's something much new. That's something that we didn't realize, that we differentiate between the time that it was intentional, the kol sheken ha, and therefore and ultimately this one. So they said, because in between for sure he knew that it's Shabbat. Maya יודע עיקר Shabbat. What exactly the meaning that he knew the essence of Shabbat? שהיה יודע עיקרה של שבת ושכחה, which means one who once knew the essence of Shabbat, but he now forget it. 68b, אבל לא שכחה מאי, but if he did not forget the din of Shabbat, and he knew that today is Shabbat, which means it's not a situation that he just not aware. So they said חייב על כל מלאכה ומלאכה שעשה, so he's liable to every prohibited labor that he committed. The answer is adetani. That's what we learn in the third section of the Mishnah. Hayodea shehu Shabbat. If someone knew the essence of Shabbat, ve'asa melachot arbe b'Shabbatot arbe, and he did a lot of type of work in many Shabbatot unintentionally, chayav is obligated for sin offering al kol melacha u'melacha. So he is obligated for each and every work. Litnei, if that's the case, which will teach hayodea ikar Shabbat. If someone knew the essence of Shabbat and he knew that this type of work is forbidden, but he forgot that today is Shabbat, so he is obligated in each and every type of work. That's much more chidush. That's something that we not realize, that it's so many times in so many melachot, so many unintentional actions, versus one time, one unintentional act for not knowing that today is Shabbat. V'kol sheken, so if you tell me that, then it will be derivative, simply understanding that that's applies as well to this one. And Tosfot here said that there is two different things. One is the category that someone knew the essence of Shabbat. I wish to have more time to elaborate on this Tosfot. But one point is that he knew that the essence of Shabbat and he forgot particular Shabbat, or that he did a lot of work in many Shabbatot, but not for every Shabbat. It's again, the Tosfot differentiate between the work and the punishment for work versus the Shabbatot, the missing of the essence of Shabbatot. Ela matnitin. So now we concluded, Rav Shmuel concluded that matnitin, the Mishnah, that stated that someone forget the essence of Shabbat, he needs to bring only one sin offering, kshehekir ulvasof shachach, that he knew the essence of Shabbat, but then he forget about it, which means Rav and Shmuel did not put this Mishnah in the case of the baby, tinok shenishba, or convert, right? That they never know that is Shabbat, right? But they speaks about different situation. Someone who knew the essence of Shabbat, but he somehow forgot, for all kind of reason, he forgot the Shabbat.
Does that include the situation, I guess, the concept that we know everything in the womb before we were born and then we forget it?
Now you go to Kabbalah.
Okay.
Uderav Shmuel, good point. Uderav Shmuel, name beikir ulvasof shachach name. And now we try to say that also the incidents that Rav Shmuel speaks about tinok shenishba, right? Remember, baby that was captured, or ger shenitgayer, convert, right? That they never know anything about Shabbat. Then vehache itma Rav Shmuel de amrei travaihu. Both of them, Rav and Shmuel, said afilu tinok shenishba ben anochrim veger shenitgayer ben anochrim. Even in those cases of lack of knowledge for those category, that they never heard about the essence of Shabbat. Kehikir ulvasof shachach dame vechayav. We may think that it's like he knew and he forgot, like Dave mentioned, and therefore they're obligated for sin offering. So here we go back to the old principle earlier that we said, one, that he forget the essence of Shabbat, he need to bring one sin offering. Now the second one, that someone knew the essence of Shabbat, but he forgot that today is Shabbat, so it's in every Shabbat he need to bring a sin offering. Or someone who knew about Shabbat, he doesn't know that this type of work are forbidden. Now we go to the other school of thought, and this one is Rabbi Yochanan and Rabbi Shimon ben Lakish. Remember yesterday Rabbi Karp talked about Rabbi Shimon ben Lakish? Look how great he become. Rabbi Yochanan and Rabbi Shimon ben Lakish, דאמרי travaihu דווקא הכירו לבסוף שכח. Both of them said that that's applies specifically if he knew the essence of Shabbat and ultimately forgot. אבל תינוק שנשבע בין הגויים וגר שנתגייר לבין הגויים פטור. They said no. A תינוק שנשבע and גר שנתגייר, that's different. That's someone who's just a baby and they're exempt for bringing a sin offering, which means that it's like it's like someone who did something in a circumstance behind his control, that they're not obligated. Meitive. Now we ask a question. Klal gadol amru b'Shabbat. We said a very important principle in Shabbat. כל השוכח עיקר שבת ועשה מלאכות הרבה בשבתות הרבה אינו חייב לאחת. That's a repetition of what we said in the Mishnah. כיצד? Bring me an example. תינוק שנשבע בין הגויים, again, baby that was captured, וגר שנתגר בין הגויים ועשה מלאכות הרבה בשבתות הרבה, and he performs many prohibitions of labors on multiple Shabbatot, אינו חייב אלא חטאת אחד. He is only liable to bring a sin offering for all these unwitting transgressions. וחייב על אדם ועל החלב אחת ועל עבודה זרה אחת ומונבז פוטר. Now we're talking about the sin offering, so he's liable to bring one sin offering for all the blood that he is unwittingly ate before he learned the prohibition, and one sin offering for all the prohibition that he ate, and one for all the idolatry that he worshipped. However, Munbaz, a great rabbi, one of the sages, he deems him exempt for bringing any sacrifice. וכך היה מונבז דן לפני רבי עקיבא. That's the way Munbaz taught before Rabbi Akiva. הואיל ומזיד קרוי חוטא, since one who commits a sin intentionally, we call him a sinner by the Torah. ושוגג קרוי חוטא, and also one who made it unintentionally is also called a sinner. מה מזיד שהייתה לו ידיעה? Just as one who committed that sin intentionally, that is liable for punishment because he has a prior knowledge of it was a prohibition. אף שוגג, so too one who commits the sin unintentionally, שהייתה לו ידיעה, is liable to bring a sin offering only in a case that he had prior knowledge. So meaning the action of one with no prior knowledge is not considered unintentional, rather same legal status as an action performed due to the circumstances beyond one's control and is completely exempt. אמר לו רבי עקיבא said to him, הריני מוסיף עוד דבריך. I would like to elaborate upon your statement. And I want to bring the logical understanding here. אם המזיד שהייתה ידיעה בשעת מעשה, just as one who commits a sin intentionally is liable for punishment when he is the awareness that he was sinning at the time that he's performed the action. אף שוגג, so too someone who did something unintentional, some sin, שהייתה לו ידיעה בשעת מעשה, that he was aware that he was sinning at the time that he performed the action, which means that it is no longer unintentional sin. אמר לו, so Munbaz responded to him and said, וכל שכן שהוספת, and it's almost so that you have elaborate upon my statement. Awareness at the time it's one performing action is one of the criteria of my definition of the unintentional sin. לדבריך, according to your statement, אין זה קרוא שוגג על המזיד. You don't call it an unintentional act, you call it a really full-fledged intentional sin. קטנה מיה, soon we wrap up all this learning. קטנה מיה כיצד תינוק, we taught so how the child was taken captive, בישלמה לרב ושמואל ניחא. So we understand it well according to Rav Shmuel, it's considered the legal status of a child taken captive equal to one who's unintentionally forget that is the essence of Shabbat. אלא לרבי יוחנן ורבי ריש לקיש קשיא. But we don't understand that according to Rabbi Yochanan and Lakish, who consider the legal status of a child taken captive equal to one who committed action due to circumstance beyond his control and therefore exempt. So it's a difficult because he's liable to bring a chatat, the sin offering, according to the Braita here. אמרי לרבי יוחנן ולקיש, למי איקה מונבז דפטר, אנן דאמרינן כמונבז. So they said, isn't the opinion of the dim, the accepted case, we go by Munbaz. So it's like that they backed off. My Tama de Munbaz. What's the rationale with the opinion of Munbaz? דכתיב, because the Torah said, תורה אחת יהיה לכם לעושה בשגגה. The Torah said there should be a one law for you for one who act unintentionally. What does that mean? וסמיך לי, the attachment, the next sentence they said, והנפש אשר תעשה ביד רמה. They said that the soul, a person who act with high hand. So which means we make a juxtaposition. Hekish, we juxtapose the two attachment statement, shogeg lemezid, unintentional to intentional. Ma mezid שהייתה לו ידיעה, someone who is intentionally and has a prior knowledge, af shogeg, so too one who commit sin unintentionally, שהייתה לו ידיעה, is only liable in a case where he had a prior knowledge. So now the other way, ורבנן, היי מהי תורה אחת, מהי הבדלי. So now according to the rabbis with this juxtaposition, so one law, the Torah said is one law. What did they explain it? So they answered, they said, מבאו לדרך מקרי לרבי יהושע בן לוי לברei. That's the way Rabbi Shimon ben Levi taught his son. And he explained to him, תורה אחת יהיה לכם לעושה בשגגה. The Torah said there will be one law for you, the one who act unintentionally, and then in the attachment it's written, just next page a little bit, וכי תשגו ולא תעשו את כל המצוות האלה, and when you err and not perform all these commandments, so וכתיב הנפש אשר תעשה ביד רמה, and the person who do in a high hand, so he said, הוקשו כולם לעבודה זרה, we juxtapose all to idolatry. מה להלן? Just as there regard to idolatry, דבר שחייבים על זדונו כרת ושגיגתו חטאת, one is liable to be punished with karet, cut off, and with it's made unintentionally, need to bring a sin offering. אף כל דבר, so too, any matter, שחייבים על זדונו כרת ועל שגיגתו חטאת, for its intentional violation, one is liable or punishment of the soul can cut off. So if it's something that is unintentional violation, is liable to bring a sin offering. So it's a juxtapose the two. So when we wrap it up, you see here the category that we learned today, a very important principle, the principle of type of tinok shenishba, the principle of knowledge, the principle of shogeg, of unintentional, the principle of honest in someone that's beyond a person's control, and now go to a practical halachot. First halacha is the Rambam in Hilchot Shabbat, which means separate halachot in regard to someone did something unintentional. Chapter 7, Hashocheach Ikar Shabbat, one who forgets the essence of Shabbat. And again, I say it with a full heart, the way that Reb Shlomo taught and the Rabbonim taught us, that we should always give the people the benefit of doubt. That people in their heart of heart not meant really to intentionally violate Shabbat. That's what we give the benefit. So the Rambam said, one who forgets the essence of Shabbat, he forgot that the Jewish people were commanded to observe this day. So he need to bring only at the time of Beit HaMikdash one sin offering for all the sin that he committed as a result of that action. Now, Hayodea Ikar Shabbat, one who knows the essence of Shabbat. So one who were of the mitzvah of Shabbat, but forgot which day it was and performed many prohibited labors on multiple Shabbatot, is liable to bring one sin offering for each Shabbat. Similarly, one who doing a certain lapse of awareness unintentionally performed many prohibited labors on multiple Shabbatot brings one sin offering for each Shabbat. Hayodea Ikar Shabbat, one who is aware that the day was Shabbat and unintentionally performs prohibited labor, as he did not know that those labors are prohibited on Shabbat, he is liable to bring a sin offering for each primary category labor that he performed. Now, another important halacha we learned today is the category, and I really ask you to remember that because it's crucial for this parak and it's crucial for in general understanding. The principle of tinok shenishba We explained it many times today, but let's read together the Kesef Mishnah on the Rambam, Hilchot Shabbat chapter 2. If a child taken captive among the enemies, or among the people who are not Jewish, who grow up with no knowledge of the Jewish people and their religion, and perform a prohibited labor on Shabbat, or ate forbidden fat or blood, when he subsequently discovers that he sinned, he bring a sin offering. The authorities rule in according to the opinion of Rav and Shmuel and their dispute with Rabbi Yochanan and Reish Lakish, contrary to the standard ruling, because the opinion of Rav and Shmuel corresponds with the opinion of Rabbi Akiva. The halacha is according to the opinion of Rabbi Akiva, who disputes with Munbaz, you remember? Furthermore, apparently even Rabbi Yochanan hold in according to the opinion of Rabbi Akiva. The only reason the GEMARA associated his opinion with the opinion of Munbaz is because its difficulty raised against him from the passage of the Braita house, so a child who was taken captive among the enemies. That's basically the same as ger shenitgayer. Last halacha, it's davar shechayavim al zdono karet v'shigrato chatat. That's what we wrap up the lesson today. Any matter that for its intentional violation one is liable to be punished with the karet, that soul shall be cut off. For his unwitting violation, one is liable to bring a sin offering. One is only obligated to bring a sin offering for shogeg, for unintentionally violation, prohibition that will be punished by the karet when performed intentionally. For example, blasphemy is an exception to this principle. Shiggat korban, if one committed a sin and knows that is a punishment by karet, when performed intentionally, so that's one thing, but does not know that one is liable to bring a sin offering, if he does so in shgagai, unintentionally, he is considered to have committed a sin intentionally, and that's the opinion of the rabbis. So again, the whole idea of yedi'ah, it's crucial. Yedi'ah meaning the intent, what exactly the person had in his mind when that happened.
Rabbi, with regard to practical halachot for nowadays, and I know we're talking about here, how many chatat sin offerings they may have to make, or whether it's only one sin offering or multiple sin offerings, etc. How does that apply practically to today's world where we don't have a Beit HaMikdash, so we're not able to make those sacrifices, we're not able to make those offerings?
It's an excellent question. My Rebbe used to teach us the best way is to open, for example, the book of my Rebbe, Shmirat Shabbat K'Hilchata, from Rav Neuwirth, which originally from Rav Shlomo Zalman Auerbach, and learn the halachot, which means sin offering in the time of Beit HaMikdash, that hopefully rebuild soon, it was an act. But let's face it, if you want to go the heart of person, if person really regret something and want to rectify it, the best way, let him go back and learn and study and penetrate to know exactly the halacha, and that's the best way to do teshuvah. The Noam Elimelech, my great-great-grandfather, used to say, when someone would do the teshuvah, he need to go backward to the exact location in Shulchan Aruch that was he or she in violation, and study it, and that way they can rectify that. That's basically, in our language, is equivalent to sin offering.
Thank you.
es Hashem